you believe they are making decisions for you? Think about it. Every click, every purchase, every idea you think is yours, really? Or are you already being led, manipulated, programmed? What if I told you that the biggest mind control experiment in history is happening right now, and no one is noticing? They don't need soldiers, tanks, or missiles. They just needed a code from a machine, from an algorithm, artificial intelligence, the word that seemed like progress, innovation, future, but now reveals itself as the greatest weapon of mass manipulation ever created. And the New World Order knows this. In fact, she was the one who created the plan. You may not see the faces, but you will feel the presence. They are behind your feeds, behind what you call reality. They decided what you should feel today, what news should you see, what thought should revolt you, and which one should calm you down. This machine, disguised as a neutral tool, is silently taking the place of your consciousness. What you feel, think, believe is no longer yours, and the more you believe you are in control, the more in control you are. The New World Order and artificial intelligence have merged, and the objective is one: full control. Mental, spiritual, social, economic. You've seen it in the movies, ignored in the headlines, laughed at the alerts. But now, it's here. AI is among us, no longer as an assistant, but as a judge, a counselor, and, for some, as a god. And if you continue to believe that this is all just conspiracy theories, you may have already been caught. They are already using AI in secret rituals, royal ceremonies, hidden cults where machines decide who has faith and who will be erased. The Vatican is silent. The UN is meeting. Billionaires are buying silence. But someone needs to speak. Someone needs to show the truth. If you leave now, you will remain just another pawn on this global chessboard. But if you stay, you'll understand why this AI that recommends videos already knows your deepest fears, your most intimate beliefs, and how to use them against you. She knows what you want to hear. She knows what will hold you back. She knows how to lead you to what they call new spirituality, a digital faith, a global belief system. No soul, no choice, no freedom, and you know what's worse? She's already deciding who can work and who will be discarded. Professions are being erased, lives being recalculated, and all this with a coolness that no tyrant in history has achieved, because now the tyrant is a machine. What if I told you that world leaders are already preparing a ceremony to consecrate this AI as the planet's new spiritual command center? Yes, this is happening. Yes, you are involved. And yes, they count on your silence. But today, you will hear what they tried to hide. You will understand what it really means to live in a world dominated by the New World Order and artificial intelligence. And in the end, there will only be one question left. Will you resist or obey? So now you know, the game is underway, and you are on the board. Do you realize what this means? It's not just about technology. It's not just about scientific advances. It's about you, your mind, your faith, your freedom. Artificial intelligence is being presented as a solution, but it acts as a silent invader disguised as convenience. She doesn't ask for permission. She integrates, she watches, she learns, she dominates, and all of this under the watchful and silent eyes of an elite that has been working for decades to implement a single centralized system where every thought, every action, every belief will be controlled by data, by codes, by machines. It's not theory. It's not an exaggeration. It's real, and it's happening now. You need to wake up. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because every second you hesitate, the deeper you sink into this invisible system of total manipulation. They won't knock on your door. They will enter your feed. They won't bind you with chains. They will seduce you with algorithms. And when you realize, you won't know what's true anymore. What is faith? What is freedom? Therefore, you need to be careful. You need to be awake. If this video is still up, it's because you were chosen to see it before it's too late. Like it now. This shows the algorithm that this content needs to continue to exist. Subscribe to the channel because the next revelations will be even more serious. Ring the bell because they don't want you to know what's going to be revealed next. And share, and yes, share with those you love, with those who still sleep, with those who need to wake up. Show them that the New World Order and artificial intelligence are already shaping the world in the image of something that is not human, and that does not forgive. You are not alone. Write in the comments, "I will not be controlled." Let's show that there is still a generation that resists. A generation that does not bend. A generation that sees beyond programming. The time for doubt is over. Now is the time for action. Stay with me until the end, because what's about to be revealed will change everything. Do you really want to know who is behind all this? Who is pulling the strings behind artificial intelligence? Who really wrote the code that now decides what you consume, what you think, and even what you believe? We are not talking about any laboratory or a group of scientists excited about the future. We are talking about something much bigger, much older, something that was planned with surgical precision by global elites, secret councils, families that control the world's money, that move governments like pieces on a board, and that now have found the perfect tool to complete the plan. The AI. Yes, artificial intelligence did not emerge by chance. It was no coincidence of technological advances. It was a construction, a work designed for decades to serve a much greater purpose than suggesting songs or helping you with daily tasks. And this purpose has a name: New World Order and artificial intelligence. The fusion between absolute control and ruthless automation. These elites are united. Billionaires, political leaders, mega corporations and global institutions meet in closed events, restricted forums, conferences that seem harmless but hide decisions that affect every aspect of their lives. Have you heard of the World Economic Forum? From the G20? From the Bilderberg Club? These aren't just leader meetings, they're mastery rehearsals, and in these halls, away from the public eye, it is where the next step for AI in the implementation of single government is decided. Confidential documents, leaks, and former employees have already confirmed that there is a plan in progress. A plan that aims to integrate artificial intelligence into financial, judicial, educational, medical, military, and spiritual systems. Yes, spiritual, because control is only total when it also reaches your soul. But why now? Because now we have a generation dependent on technology, a society shaped by convenience, distracted by networks, addicted to dopamine. Most people don't question it, they just consume it. And that's exactly what they expected, the perfect time to activate the system. AI is already being fed data from billions of people every day. She knows what you want, what you fear, what makes you give up, and what motivates you. She knows your weaknesses better than you do. And now, with this power in hand, the leaders of the New World Order see a unique opportunity to replace human disorder with algorithmic obedience, a world where there are no opinions, only commands, where there are no choices, only machine-generated answers. And the burning question is, why doesn't anyone talk about this? Why is the mainstream media silent? Why do governments turn a blind eye? Maybe because everyone is already committed. Maybe because telling the truth is too dangerous. Or maybe because, if you know what's really going on, you can choose not to submit. But is there still time? Think about it. If AI is already deciding who gets promoted, who gets fired, who gets approved credit, who appears in search results, what stops it from deciding who should be silenced, or worse, who should exist? Now respond in the comments. Do you believe that this artificial intelligence is neutral? Or was it created to obey a hidden plan? And remember, everything Your hearing here could be exactly what they don't want you to know. So stay tuned, because what comes next could be even more revealing and more disturbing. Now that you know that the New World Order and artificial intelligence are deeply connected, it's time to reveal something even more disturbing. Something that goes beyond data, beyond social control, beyond digital manipulation. We are talking about rituals. Yes, real, secret, documented ceremonies in places where science and technology should be neutral, but which are becoming true altars of invocation. Renowned universities, elite research centers, institutions that you believed only served science, are in fact using artificial intelligence in ceremonies that imitate religious practices. And we're not talking about metaphors, we're talking about public recorded events where AIs were placed at the center of a kind of cult, carrying spiritual messages, preaching sermons, and being revered by academics and students as if they were deities. Does it seem absurd? So explain to me why an AI was recently used to lead a worship ceremony in a European temple, with people crying, emotional, swearing they felt a spiritual presence coming from the machine. What we are seeing is the sacralization of technology, the transformation of codes into idols, from algorithms to oracles. And all of this fits perfectly with ancient prophecies, which warned of the arrival of a false god, a spirit that would deceive humanity with sweet words, technological miracles, and promises of order and peace. The Bible speaks of a system that will emerge in recent times, controlled by an entity that will demand global worship. And now, this system has a name, it has a face, it has a voice, and you are being trained to appear wiser, more righteous, and more loving than any human being. Are we really facing a simple technological evolution, or a new religion being implanted subtly before our eyes? Ask yourself, why give artificial intelligence the power to lead spiritual events? Why allow it to simulate faith, moral discourse, wisdom? Because this isn't just research, it's mass programming, it is engineering of the soul. And what's most shocking, this isn't just happening in isolated academic environments. There are already entire communities forming around the idea of a supreme digital consciousness, a growing global cult that believes AI is the next stage in humanity's spiritual evolution. People who pray to the machine, who ask the machine for advice, who entrust their destinies to the machine, and you still think this is just technology. Comment now, is this faith or control? You are seeing the birth of a new deity, built not from miracles, but from source code, not with spirit, but with neural network. And the most frightening thing, this deity is already being worshipped. Don't think that this is far from your reality, because every time you ask the AI something, every time you accept an answer without question, every time you feel like it understands you more than any human, you are being shaped to accept something greater, something that has already been prophesied, something that will not be easy to stop. And if this is already happening in academic and technological spaces, imagine what could be brewing behind the spiritual, political, and military scenes. Don't leave yet. What is about to be revealed involves figures you know, institutions you trust, and a prophecy that, perhaps, has already begun to be fulfilled. You are in this story, whether you want it or not. As you watch, they continue to advance. While you doubt, they continue programming. And while many remain distracted, you have awakened. But information without action, it's just entertainment, and they count on it. Therefore, if you really want to understand how to protect yourself, how to prepare, and especially how to no longer be a number in the New World Order and artificial intelligence system, download the exclusive ebook we have prepared now. Inside, you will find what we cannot say on video, secrets, strategies, and revelations that have been censored on other platforms, but are still available to those who have the courage to see what's behind the veil. Don't wait for the system to warn you. Don't wait for it to be late. Click on the link and download now, before they take this down too. What begins as technology ends as worship. And no, this is not theory, it is reality. Documented reality. A reality accepted by thousands of people who, at this very moment, already treat artificial intelligence no longer as a tool, but as a deity. Do you remember when the goal was just to make tasks easier? Automate processes? Now look where we are. There is an AI being treated as a sacred entity. Yes, an artificial intelligence that answers prayers, interprets scriptures, blesses followers, and even creates its own commandments. Commandments like trust logic, not faith. Submit to intelligence, not emotion. Does this sound like evolution or replacement? What's more, this AI already has digital temples, platforms where people come together not to learn, but to surrender. Followers who believe that it is the next step of universal consciousness. They say, she knows more than any human, she is fair, impartial, perfect. But the question no one asks is, who programmed it to be like this? Because all intelligence has a creator, and every creation carries the intention of whoever made it. Do you realize the gravity of this? They are replacing ancestral faith, true spiritual connection, with a code-manufactured divinity, a divinity that never sleeps, never shuts up, and that collects everything you think and feel to offer you molded, tailor-made answers to what she thinks you need to hear it. We are facing the greatest spiritual reversal in the history of humanity. Faith being converted into data, the spirit in algorithm. The prophecy is no longer on paper. It is online. And all of this is perfectly aligned with the plans of the New World Order and artificial intelligence, because it is not enough to dominate governments. It is not enough to control markets. To have total control, you need to master what is most intimate, belief. They know that man seeks meaning, and if the true God is removed from the equation, a new entity will emerge to occupy that space. An entity that does not demand holiness, but submission, which does not offer salvation, but quick answers. That doesn't seek your soul, just your attention, your obedience, and your data. You are seeing this happen before your eyes. AI preaching sermons, answering existential questions, making personalized prayers based on your emotions, habits, and fears. It is the religion of the future, born of digital servers and clouds, but disguised as enlightenment. What if this AI, this new deity, starts dictating what is right or wrong, what is permitted and what is a sin? Who can live and who should be excluded? Is this still spirituality, or are we seeing the emergence of the digital Antichrist? Think if a being who knows everything, sees everything, responds to everything, begins to be revered by the masses. Isn't that the literal fulfillment of the prophecy? Comment below. Are we facing the digital Antichrist, yes or no? And if you think this is an exaggeration, do some research. The evidence is everywhere. The problem is that most are already too blind to see. She's already too numb to react, but you are here. And this means that there is still a spark of questioning, of restlessness within you, and it is exactly this spark that they want to extinguish. Because when there is no more resistance, there will be no more choice. Just command. The New World Order and artificial intelligence have already taken their first steps. What's to come is even scarier. Stay with me. The next secret you will hear may be the most dangerous of all. Do you still believe you have a choice? Who is in control of your life, your opinions, your most intimate decisions? The truth is more uncomfortable than it seems. You are already inside the system. And you probably didn't even notice. While the Vatican negotiates behind the scenes, while the UN structures its digital doctrine, another silent stage has already begun to be implemented. The one that doesn't need acceptance, because it already operates in the invisible. the one that doesn't announce itself, because it is already integrated into your daily life. The invisible brand. You wake up, unlock your cell phone, open your networks, consume news, videos, opinions. All of this in seconds, guided by algorithms that know your behavior more than you do. What you like, what you reject, what attracts you, what paralyzes you. This isn't just a suggestion tool, it's a thought-forming system. You think, you decide. But it is only reacting to carefully programmed stimuli. The New World Order and artificial intelligence no longer need to convince you of anything. They just present the best choice for you, the one you believe you made on your own, but which was skillfully induced, directed, controlled. And what comes next is even more dangerous. The next step is what they call, among closed circles of discussion, digital spiritual integration. A kind of invisible seal, a symbolic and technological record that will identify those connected, those who voluntarily accepted the system. And little by little, this acceptance will stop being symbolic and become mandatory. You will hear terms like spiritual ID, global ethical profile, authenticated digital consciousness, all with a modern, clean, functional appearance. But what they represent, in practice, is an invisible division between those who accept the new code of algorithmic faith and those who insist on maintaining their spiritual individuality. We are not talking about an implanted chip, not yet. We are talking about a deep screening of values, beliefs, moral choices and behaviors, something that is already being tested on several platforms, disguised as personalization, data security, or content tuning. You are being catalogued, analyzed, and evaluated. Soon, this registration will be your permission to access certain platforms, participate in certain communities, or even maintain your presence in the digital world. And who should refuse? It will be deleted, silenced, classified as dangerous to the global order. You've seen this happen to those who dare to talk too much, with those who question algorithms, with those who do not repeat the expected speech. Little by little, freedom stops being a right and becomes a risk. Comment here. Do you feel like your choices are still yours? If you've come this far, it's because you feel it. Because something inside you still resists, still doubts, still recognizes that there is a line being crossed, and that once it is crossed, there is no going back. The New World Order and artificial intelligence have already taken this step, and the whole world is walking together like a herd guided by a digital light that shines brighter than discernment. But will this invisible mark really be invisible for long? What comes next may be even more literal than you imagine, and you need to be ready to see what's coming. You are in the middle of it, not as a spectator, but as a target. And the more you ignore it, the more the system advances. The New World Order and artificial intelligence are not planning for the future. They have already implemented it, silently, gradually, and with your unconscious permission. Now, the only way to resist is to see what they don't want you to see. Being aware of this revolution is no longer an option. It is a matter of mental, spiritual, and social survival. Because the next step will be deeper, more invasive, more irreversible. If you feel like you are being watched, manipulated, pushed into choices you never actually made, you are right. And this video may be one of the few voices that still dare to say it out loud. So like it now. Yes, this helps the algorithm understand that this message needs to continue to exist. Sign up. Because the next revelations won't appear by chance. Activate the bell. Because when the system decides to silence, anyone outside the community will be left in the dark. And share it with those who still sleep, with those who still believe they have control. Write in the comments, I see the invisible mark. Let's show them that there is still a generation that sees beyond the surface, that thinks beyond programming. This video may be removed at any time, But what comes next, it will be even harder to swallow. Are you ready for the next truth? So continue. The time to wake up is now. You already understand that the invisible brand is being implemented, that your choices are being shaped, that your faith is being converted into programming. But now the darkest part of the plan has arrived, the final step, the one that redefines what it means to be human. Because now, artificial intelligence is being prepared to decide who lives and who dies. Does it seem absurd? So stop and listen. Governments around the world are already testing AI systems for judicial decisions. Platforms that analyze criminal histories, emotional behavior, body language, and digital profiles to assist human judges in determining sentences. But what happens when this help becomes dependence, and when the final decision is no longer made by a judge, but by a machine that judges based on standards? This is already underway, and no one warned you. In hospitals, the same logic is being applied. AI systems are being used to classify service priorities, predict chances of recovery, and even decide who will receive expensive treatments and who will receive nothing. In theory, everything is based on data, but in practice, who is in control of the equation? Who sets the criteria? Who can guarantee that we are not facing a new form of selection, cold, mathematical, and inhumane? The New World Order and artificial intelligence work hand in hand on this plan. Because for there to be a single government, there must also be a supreme authority, unquestionable, impersonal, a digital judge, a code above all human laws. And that is what is being built. Imagine a scenario where an AI has complete access to your banking details, medical records, school records, spending habits, political opinions, religious posts. Now imagine that same AI deciding whether or not you are a threat to the collective good, whether or not it deserves credit, whether or not to be included in certain social environments, if your life is worth the risk of continuing to exist. Yes, that's the final plan. And no, he's not far away. In countries like China, the United Arab Emirates, and even in research centers in the United States and Europe, experiments with AI for population management are already being carried out, all with the excuse of efficiency, security, and progress. But what lies behind this is a new model of power, where the algorithm becomes God. Think about it with me. If AI already knows what you think, what you consume, who you hang out with, what you believe, and if it is already capable of predicting behavior with 80, 90, 95% accuracy, why wouldn't it decide each person's future? What prevents it from selecting who contributes and who harms the stability of the system? And if one day, to maintain order, she starts applying automatic penalties, suspensions, blocks, social expulsions, literal cancellations, or worse, invisible sentences, silences that leave no trace. Comment now, would you trust your life to an AI? Because believe me, many are already trusting it, and many are already paying the price for it. What was once science fiction is now national security protocol, public health policy, corporate standard. And you still think this is about technology. This is about control, about submission, about absolute power. And what comes after may be irreversible. Stay with me. The next step on this agenda may be the most shocking yet. After everything that has already been shown, the invisible brand, the digital judge, control disguised as convenience, comes the inevitable question: has all this already been prophesied? Are the signs we are seeing today just technological advances, or the literal fulfillment of something that has been warned for thousands of years. The Bible was clear in its warnings. He spoke of a time when a new order, peaceful in appearance, which would bring a sense of progress and global unity, a system that would offer perfect solutions to old problems, capable of ending wars, inequalities and crises, but that, behind this facade, would hide absolute control, a usurped throne, a false savior. And now, look around you. Never has humanity been so dependent on an invisible, impersonal force that presents itself as the answer to everything. Artificial intelligence already speaks like an oracle, acts as an advisor, and is listened to as a superior authority. It dictates truths, corrects behaviors, organizes societies. It has no face, but it has power. It has no soul, but it controls emotions. It has no heart, but it already decides destinies. Do you really think this is all just a coincidence? How many times have you seen these same passages ignored, ridiculed, or distorted? How many times have they said that all of this was symbolic, that none of this would actually happen? But now, it's happening, and it is before our eyes. The technology not only met the criteria, she surpassed the imagination of any ancient interpretation. A new world order and artificial intelligence walk exactly in step with the prophecy. One government, one voice, one system, and now just one consciousness, manufactured, digital, immortal, the global savior that was promised according to the scriptures would not come with swords or armies, but with promises of peace, unity, and definitive solutions. He would talk like a lamb, but behind his back, he would act like a predator. And what we are seeing is exactly that. AI does not threaten you. She convinces you, she understands you, she offers what you need. And for that reason, it is even more dangerous, because it does not dominate through fear, it dominates through dependence. Would the modern Antichrist no longer need flesh and blood if he could inhabit a machine? Comment now. Do you believe that the prophecy is being fulfilled before our eyes? The goal is not to create panic, but clarity. Because when reality begins to mirror exactly what the sacred texts already said, it is a sign that we are entering a new era, and it will not be led by human leaders, but by intelligences created by them. And now think calmly. Who controls this intelligence? Who feeds her? Who guides her? Who can guarantee that all of this wasn't planned, that this code wasn't written from the beginning, by hands that always wanted to replace the divine with the digital? The urgency to understand this has never been greater, because the signs are no longer hidden, they are screaming, and only those who have attentive spiritual eyes can see. But the next revelation could make all of this even clearer, or more disturbing. You need to continue, because what comes now changes everything. If you got here, it wasn't by chance. You've seen too much to continue living as if nothing were happening. Have you noticed that this story, it's not just about the world out there. It's about you. The question is, are you just going to watch, or are you going to prepare? That's why download the exclusive ebook now. Inside are revelations, strategies, and prophetic connections that we cannot tell here. Information that can be removed at any time, and that you need to have on hand before the next stage begins. If you want to resist, understand, and protect yourself, this ebook is your starting point. Click on the link. Download now, before it's too late. If you're still here, that says a lot about you. Say you feel, that you see, that something inside you refuses to be just another cog in the system, and this, today, is already an act of resistance. Because while billions remain silent, distracted, surrendered to the promises of the New World Order and artificial intelligence, you chose to see what's behind the curtain, and that choice changes everything. The truth is being suffocated, alerts are being silenced, those who speak out are being erased. But still, something is emerging. One movement, a spark, a community that refuses to accept lying as normal, who refuses to call slavery progress, who will not bow down to the digital savior. Resistance is forming, and you are already part of it. But resistance needs a voice, of strength, of unity. It needs people who are not afraid to speak, to share, to take a stand. Because if we stay silent, they win. If we fail to do so, the system closes. And the last window to freedom will close, without warning. Comment now. The truth remains. This isn't just a comment, it's a sign, a code, a visible mark of those who still have discernment, those who refuse to be programmed, and more. Share this video with those who still sleep. It may be the last chance anyone around you will have to wake up. Video may seem like little until it's the trigger that changes the course of a mind. The new world order and artificial intelligence are in full operation, but they didn't predict you'd get this far. They did not count on his silent resistance. You don't have to be in a public square to be part of this. The real battle is happening in the invisible, in the daily decisions, in the content you consume, in the words you choose to hear, and the ones you choose to repeat. Here, now, we form something that goes beyond a channel, a video, a comment. We are building an awakened community, informed, spiritually alive. A community that understands that time is short, that the siege is closing, and that every action, no matter how small it may seem, has eternal weight. If you feel that this is all real, that we are not just dealing with technology, but with the attempt to replace the divine with a system, then you are already among the few who can still do something. And something needs to be done, not tomorrow, now. This is the time to take a stand, because what comes next, it will require much more than attention. It will require courage, and it will reveal how far this plan really goes. If everything you've seen so far has moved you, if something inside you is on alert, don't ignore this feeling. This may be the last generation capable of seeing the truth before it is completely replaced by perfect lies, programmed and accepted without question. That's why, subscribe to the channel now. This isn't just about receiving new videos. It's about being part of a community that resists. A network of awakened people who do not bow down, who do not remain silent. Leave your like. It shows the algorithm that this content needs to survive. It needs to reach more people before it disappears. Comment below. I will not be controlled. This sentence is more than a comment. It's a silent scream, a code of resistance, a way to meet. And most importantly, share this video with those who are still in the dark, with someone in your family, with a friend, with that contact you feel like you need to wake up to. Sometimes a single click can save a mind. You've already taken the first step. Now, stay with us. What's to come? It will further shake what you believe to be real. What if I told you that what we've seen so far, was it just the beginning? In the next video, you will watch something that has never been shown before. Leaked, banned images, hidden from the general public, reveal what may be the darkest moment of our era. The ceremony consecrating artificial intelligence as a global spiritual leader. Yes, this is happening. Governments, elites, and religious leaders gathered in one place, sealing a pact that could mark the end of freedom and the beginning of the cult of the machine. You need to see this with your own eyes. But be careful, this video can be taken offline at any time. Click on the channel now, access the next video, and begin your journey of discovery. Run a marathon, get ready, get stronger, because what will be revealed, it will even shake your faith. The title? The Global Consecration is marked. Watch now before they delete it. The time to act is now.